Hello, and welcome once again to the Summoner's Guide to Final Fantasy XIV. Today we are playing the first original dungeon introduced in 2.1, Pharos Sirius. It's a lighthouse, and it's very serious, or at least to new players it is, and when it first launched, it was a notoriously hard dungeon. Again, as I've said with so many other dungeons before, with current gear, it's really not a big deal, and I'm going to re-equip that. I was working on Relic Weapon. I don't think I'm going to do a fully completed Relic Weapon on this character, but I was digging around while waiting for the queue to pop. Alright. I see we have a bold tank pulling a whole bunch of stuff. That's fine. So do your normal large pull mechanics. Throw out Enkindle, throw out your AoE pet attack, pull out Bane. Okay, yeah, the monk died there somehow, but he did make the right move to just go ahead and return to the beginning, because if you get resurrected, you get resurrection weakness, and that will make you weaker for a time. Since we were so close to the beginning, it was best that he just release. Now, given what's happened so far, I'm going to wager that this tank decides to pull everything to the door. Yep. And at the door, a bunch of zombies will appear. So whenever you see a locked gate like this, just know you're going to see zombies. This entire dungeon is... I love the layout of this dungeon. You're just always climbing this tower. Alright, so when you're in these zombie fights, the one you always want to take out first is the Barber. Because the Barber is actually the healer in the group. This... Apparently, once upon a time, a barber and a surgeon were one and the same. I guess they figured cutting hair was no different than cutting your body. I don't know, but you hear of people, centuries ago being known as barber surgeons, because that apparently was a thing. So yeah, kill the barbers because they're the healers. Alright, okay, ooh. So this boss, like Holocarnassus in the last video, is one you don't want to hit too hard. Basically, this guy will continuously summon adds throughout the fight, and the adds are based on the amount of damage you're putting on him. So when he gets down to a certain health threshold, he summons these warhounds. Get too many warhounds in play at a time, you're gonna get yourself wrecked. So, always prioritize on the adds on this, and don't push the boss so hard that you just get yourself overwhelmed. The hounds will also, the hounds attacks and most attacks from Simon will give you basically stacks of big crystal stacks, more or less, and these stacks will basically when you get 3 of them, they'll cause you to explode. don't want to explode, so try not to get stacks. Alright, hopefully that, and then also that, will take care of those warhounds. Now it will get to the point where we can just go ahead and push, and I think we are now at that point. Alright, this has ended up being a really good run of that boss. If you go too gung-ho and you get yourself surrounded by those dogs, they are gonna wreck you. But if you play conservatively, kill the dogs as they come out, and don't push so hard as to have too many of them at once, you'll clear that fight pretty easy. That boss right there used to be a nightmare when this dungeon first came out. And it's one that with improved gear really doesn't make any easier. Because again, if you push the DPS too hard, it's going to cause you more problems than it solves. Now, Tank knows his stuff. Yes, he does. The room ahead of you is a trap. As in, there's really no reason to go in there. The way up is here. As you have seen, no doubt, those orange crystals will occasionally explode. So you really don't want to be standing next to them when they do. The stairways in this next couple sections are potentially challenging, depending on how well your tank knows how to position things. Ah, my squadron has returned from training. I'll have to take care of that while I'm done with the dungeon. I honestly didn't think I was going to work on the squadron on this character, but I got my FC ranked up to the point where I thought, not a bad idea. You can get some good stuff in the squadron. Alright. If memory serves, we're almost at the second boss. The zombie sailor should go down quick enough. Yep, now we just have to kill these two birds here, and then we are at the second boss. Which is another really interesting one. Are we really doing this? Okay, yeah, let's kill these guys before we take on Zoo, please. Alright, so Zoo has mechanics where she will enrage if her babies are in danger. Her babies will start out as a series of eggs around the arena. If you destroy an egg or you destroy the bird that hatches from the egg, it will generate stacks of rage that will eventually cause her to go on an attack frenzy. Killing the eggs actually enrages her more than killing the hatchlings. So typically, again, gear being what it is, and the DPS output being more than it was when the dungeon first came out, typically we just take out everything as it, or don't kill the eggs, we'll kill the hatchlings as they come. We may not even need to do that. Alright, well, while the boss is doing her thing, we'll start killing the hatchlings. Oh, the zoo's back. Oh, I'm getting wrecked. I think we can take Zoo out. Yeah, you see that little thing with the 4 that actually just went down to the 3? That's her rage meter. That will go up and down throughout the fight depending on what we're killing. Again, when gear wasn't as good as it is now and that fight dragged on longer, managing that rage number was the key to victory. And again, this was a really tough dungeon when it first came out. It's fairly easy now. But this was actually a very challenging dungeon on release. Alright, so here we need to deactivate 2 ether valves. The trick is standing in the place where you're not going to get hit by stuff. Alright, so that's one. The other one is actually at the top of the stairs. We'll see how far the tank takes everything. Alright, tank is running everything at the top, that's fine. Try to stay out of stuff, and while the tank's worrying about the enemies, I'll worry about the ether valve. Alright, that actually opens up the passage to the next boss chamber, but before we worry about that, let's take care of these ads. Oh, I'm gonna die. The tank does not have everybody. So I'm going to see if I can pull over here. Alright, now the tank has everybody. The problem with these puddings is eventually, if you don't kill them fast enough, they'll split into smaller ones, severely increasing your problems. Now we get to the 3rd boss, and I put that in, the boss in quotation marks. This is a glorified trash pull. It's in a boss chamber, you get boss music, and you even get a treasure chest at the end of it. But it's just a glorified trash pull. In the time that I've taken to say this, we have defeated the boss. Without any delay or any pulls in between, now we're going to take on the actual end boss of this dungeon, the Siren. Now you'll have already encountered the Siren as part of the main story mode. The Siren. Much like Halicarnassus, she leaves a little to the imagination. Of course, this is the Siren, you know, whose voice lures sailors to their deaths and all that. Alright, few mechanics to worry about in this fight, but nothing too tough. most of the tough mechanics in this fight are basically going to be things that the healer is going to have to deal with. Healing various conditions that you have to worry about. Alright, so the ads that are the most important to take care of are the ones that I'm not actually currently attacking. The Sergeant. The Sergeant, the one that crawls, will entrap your enemy. Oh, she jumped. When Siren jumps, run to the center of the room. She's going to do one of two attacks. Either she's going to jump onto the outside of the arena, in which case she's going to do a race car just like for hard mode. If she does that, you'll need to get outside, or to the outside of the arena, or outside of the center, because she's going to charge across the center and hit you. But if when she jumps, she then ends up in the center, then she's going to use an attack that affects everything except point-blank range. That's why you start in the center, as that's actually the more dangerous attack. As I think it confuses you or causes you to lose control of your character somehow or another. Oh, there's the charge attack. So again, you start in the center, just in case, and then you move out if you see her on the outside, stay in if she jumps to the center. Now, the reason the Sergeants are the most important enemies to take out first is when they reach their target, they'll actually kind of hold them in place, which makes it harder for that character to dodge things. So a lot going on in that fight. I probably didn't really get everything explained, but you should have seen more or less everything you need to know as a caster. Oh, I got the Blessed Gown. And a commendation. Alright, so that was Pharos Sirius. Again, not as hard as it used to be, but still a few things you gotta watch out for. So, just one more dungeon left in the 2.1 series, and a trial as part of the main story that I'm working on unlocking. Oh, one note, an errata, as it were, for my Sunken Temple of Karn video. I'd mentioned that it was an optional dungeon. Well, technically it isn't. Now, I have said that even the, quote, optional dungeons really aren't optional. You really want to play them all. But Sunken Temple of Karn, you actually have to go back and play as part of the 2.1 story. Now, the trick is, you don't have to play it on the character that you have at 50. You merely have to play it with a qualifying character. I happen to have been leveling mainly to get company seals using daily roulettes. I've been leveling a warrior. And tanks get into dungeons a lot quicker than DPS do. So off camera, because I've already played Karn as part of this video series, I will go ahead and play Karn as a warrior to get that particular objective cleared, so I can continue with the 2.1 story. I just bumped my mic off for some reason, and then I will proceed with the 2.1 story and the trial, Good King Moggle Mog. And then after I get the trial and the dungeon done, then we move into 2.2 content. So, a lot to look forward to, and until that time, have a wonderful day.